What's up, guys? Welcome. This is Super Mega Graphics 64. I'm Cyrus, and we're hanging out on a Saturday. This is going to be something different that I'm adding to the channel. It's really not anything major. In fact, it's kind of the opposite of something major. Because what I'm going to be doing during this stream is something I'm going to try to do pretty regularly. I'm not saying I'll do it every weekend, but regularly. And it's going to be no gameplay. I'm not actually going to be playing games during the stream. I'm just going to be hanging out with you guys and talking to the chat. Just a chat hangout. That's all this is. I made some changes. I don't know if you can notice anything different about the stream. I have a better camera set up now. Things look a little bit better, hopefully. Yeah, I just wanted to hang out and talk with you guys and chit chat with the chat. Drunky Cheese was number one in. He gets the pinned comment. Thank you, Drunky Cheese, my old friend, my buddy. Intellivision Gamer, Casey is also here. He says hello, everyone. And then PJ, my partner in crime for the Super Duper Retro Show, which was formerly ColecoVision with Friends, but it's still ColecoVision with Friends. But it's more than that. It's more than that. Thank you for being here. Born Distracted. OG. Born Distracted is an OG from back in the day. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he's been around not just my channel, but a lot of my friends' channels for many, many years. Born Distracted always has fun stuff to add. He's a good guy. I like Born Distracted. He's fun. He says, are we getting some Evercade action? I'm going to be doing Evercade videos once a week for a while. I'm spreading them out. So probably Monday you'll get another one. But I'll probably be doing some Evercade streams at some point as well. Oh, you're still at work, Casey. I'm sorry, my bad. Metal Torso, thank you for being here, Metal Torso. Awesome guy. Love hanging out with Metal Torso. He's always got fun stuff to say also. Let's see. Brian F., another guy that I've loved hanging out with for a long time. Man, everybody's showing up. We got popcorn, beer, hot dogs. Wow. You brought all kinds of stuff with you. You can't sneak that in here. No, that's fine. That's fine. Let's see. Psy in 8K. Not quite. But better. But more gooder. Super Mega in 4K now. It definitely looks better, right? I mean, you can see more of me. That doesn't mean it's better. You can see more of me. This is the webcam that I was using in here. It's a webcam I've had for many years. A Logitech, I don't know what this is. 6350 or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, this is going in the other room with the other computer because the webcam I have in there that I've been using is garbage. So this will be better for in there. But in here we get this. This is where the magic happens. So anyway. Born Distracted Psy, did you get a Switch 2 pre-order in? No, I didn't, Born Distracted. I did not get a pre-order. I did not. Oh, hi, Born Distracted. No. I thought about it, but it was so much money. In order to get started, it was, you got to pay. Oh man, it was going to be a lot. It was going to be $500 plus game plus pro controller plus camera. I just was like, man, I can't do this right now. But at some point it will happen. I know I'm going to be getting a Switch 2. I just can't get one right away. We'll see how the launch goes. We'll see what happens with pricing. This is what all the YouTubers are talking about right now, is the possibility that the Switch 2 could actually go up in price. And I'm like, I was talking with the Last Line about this yesterday, and I was like, hey, how can you raise the price of the Switch 2? It has to be like, you would have to complete the pre-orders that are already at a certain price, right? You can't raise it after people have pre-ordered and then expect them to pay that price, right? But who's to say it would even really happen? We don't know. We don't know. This is a wild time. It's crazy. We don't know what's happening. But anyway, yeah, it'll be a little while before I get a Switch 2. Eventually, but not right away. I will not be there for day one. Mario Kart World, I think is what they're calling it. I will not be there for that, unfortunately. PJ says, "Wow, that camera looks good." Thank you. Yeah, it does look a lot better, and it does pick up the CRT very nicely. That is my TurboGrafx with the CD, using my Turbo EverDrive Pro that I recently got. I got to tell you guys. So I ordered. By the way, John is here. I want to say hi. Retro Bro, what's up, dude? I ordered the Turbo EverDrive Core, okay, which was $99. The reason I did that was because I was planning to use it on my TurboGrafx CD, which is, like I said, sitting back over there. You can see it behind me. I was going to use that on that, and I'm like, I don't need all the extra functionality. I just need this thing to do arcade system card stuff, basically. Well, Crick sent me the full Pro one instead, and I guess people said that I got some comments, people saying sometimes he does that. He'll just upgrade people. And that changed everything for me. So I've made some purchasing decisions since that happened. I ordered the EDFX, which plugs into the back of the system and gives you RGB out and all kinds of stuff. I was planning to get this thing RGB modded, which now I'm not going to, because I ordered a Super Graphics, which hasn't yet shipped, but they told me will probably ship tomorrow from Japan. So maybe next week, I'll be playing actual Super Graphics, which this is crazy. I didn't need it. It's a crazy thing to buy, but anyway, we're doing that. So I might be selling my Duo, my PC Engine Duo. I just can't justify owning that many TurboGrafx things. That's a lot. I'll have to think about that. But anyway, big changes happening with that. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Let me back up. I am so far behind once again. All I'm doing is talking to the chat, and I'm still crazy far behind. This is what I do. At least there's bonk in the background. Yeah, there you go. There's bonk in the foreground and bonk in the background. Double bonk. Metal Torso. I sold one of my sister's kids. She has 2, and I left her with her favorite and pre-order Switch 2. Okay. Started reading the sentence. I was like, what are you saying? What's happening right now? What am I about to read? Okay, that was fun. That's okay. What cam is it? It's a cell phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy S9 or something that I hadn't been using, that I thought about, why don't I hook this thing up as a webcam? So that's what I did. So it's wired in USB as a webcam. That's what that is. I didn't buy a fancy webcam. It just looks a lot better. Mike Wolf. What's up? What's up, Mike Wolf? How you doing? Born Distracted. Sai is using the Piranha Plant camera for the Switch 2. Yes, that's the only thing I could afford was the webcam. I'll have to wait on the Switch 2, but at least I'll have my camera, and I can just imagine what it would be like hooked up to a Switch 2. Luke's Awakening. Luke, hola. That's Spanish for hello. What is this, Dora the Explorer? Hola! That's Spanish for hello. Thank you, Luke. Luke is very educational. I've always said that about him. Let's see. John says, ciao. That's Italian for hello and goodbye. Thank you, John. We're learning. Today we're learning stuff. Foreign languages. John says, 3 things guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Sai being behind on chat. Indeed. I excel at one of those. Born Distracted. Hi, Luke, aka Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong's Awakening. Yes, that's correct. We were watching Luke earlier playing Donkey Kong 64. Well, I say playing. We were really watching the end credits because he had pretty much beaten the game by this point and just needed to like finish her off, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So anyway, he finished Donkey Kong 64 off, and I'm very proud of Luke. That is a pretty major accomplishment. You know, not everybody can say they've beat Donkey Kong 64. I can't say that. My daughter has beat it. I watched her beat it many, many years ago, and that's the only other time I've ever seen anybody beat that game. So it was kind of a special moment for me watching Luke beat the game, because it was like, it's like what it was like back when it was like that. You know, it's very, very nostalgic for me. I'll just say that. Thank you, Luke. Brian F., you need 4 TurboGrafx, 16 consoles that give you TurboGrafx, Super Mega Graphics 64. That's right. You do the math, you carry the 1. I see where you're going with that. That's a good point. You make a strong argument. So I'm actually behind where I need to be. I'm not ahead of where I should be. I got you. Mike Wolf, I'm doing good. How did you know I was Italian? That's a good question. Casey, I have my iPhone 13 Pro Max sitting at my desk waiting to use it as a cam. There you go. I bet that would make a phenomenal webcam. Absolutely. Metal Torso, I will sell my sister as well, but I want Mario Kart World and the Pro Controller for her. Wow. I don't know. That's asking a lot. I mean, I don't know her. I'm not trying to, this isn't a reflection on her. Just saying, you know, I'm just saying. I think that's kind of steep. Casey says, Torso, my son has a shirt that says, "We'll trade sister for games." And that's what I call advertising. PJ says, everyone is human trafficking for the Switch too. That's right. That should be their slogan. That should be the Nintendo's tagline for the Switch too. Like, there was the Super Nintendo one. It was Nintendo. It was like, now you're playing with power. Super Nintendo was, now you're playing with superpower. Nintendo 64, get in or get out. And then I think they had something else also. I don't remember what the GameCube one was. The GameCube thing. The Wii would like to play. That was for the Wii. The Wii U was Wii U. That was the Wii U pitch that they gave. And then the Switch 2 was, the Switch was, I don't remember. There's a bunch of things for the Switch. So Switch 2, the advertising tagline is, human trafficking, something. Yes. All right. Metal Torso, Nintendo makes us sell our souls for entertainment. Well, one could argue that Nintendo knows a lot about selling one's soul. We could make that argument, I guess. Casey says, I'm hoping to get a Switch 2 in store on launch day. We shall see. If anybody can pull it off, Casey, I'm sure it's you. Casey has to have everything. Has to. It's like a requirement. It's an accepted fact. Luke says, I had to preserve the memory of finally beating it, 24 years coming. Well, it's a special moment, and I'm very proud of you, and that's awesome. So congratulations, dude. For real. That's badass. Mike Wolf, some of those Donkey Kong games are balls hard. Balls hard. Not just hard. Balls hard. That's what she said. Casey, love the Donkey Kong games. Born Distracted. Good luck. Intellivision Gamer. That's what the IG stands for. It took me a second. I was like, IG. IG-88 from Star Wars? The robot? No, IG. Intellivision Gamer. GameStop might be best chance. Okay to wait if I need to. Not doing anything crazy. Mike Wolf says, I'm 3/4 Sicilian, 1/4 Japanese, believe it or not. Wow. Mike says, the Japanese side probably explains why I love video games and radio control vintage cars. That's very specific. That's very specific. I don't know that being Japanese is, a lot of us love these things as well. So, I don't know. John says, I got the first Switch at launch for Zelda. There isn't anything the Switch 2 showed me that makes me want it day one. Well, I kind of agree with you, John. Like, I kind of feel like Mario Kart World is awesome. But, like, last night I'm playing Mario Kart 8 for the Switch, that version of it. And I'm playing on Go Game Go, Jeff's stream. And I am sucking ass. Like, I've played this tournament thing with him a few times on Fridays. He likes to do this thing. And I had one race that I got first place. But usually I do absolutely horrendous on Mario Kart Online. I mean, it's unbelievably bad. It's so bad you would think I'd never played Mario Kart in my life. I'm that bad. So the thought of continuing that experience on, but with a more complex environment, I can only imagine my ineptitude amplified, like multiplied exponentially. So I'm not as hyped over Mario Kart World as a lot of other people, a lot of my other friends, because I'm kind of like, I don't know that I'm as big a fan of Mario Kart as I used to be. I mean, once upon a time, yeah, huge fan. But I've gotten my ass handed to me regularly on that, whether it's online or even when we had like me, my brother, my brother's girlfriend, and my daughter all playing at the same time on a TV, I'd still get my ass handed to me. I'm not good at Mario Kart anymore. I don't know what it is. Once upon a time, Mario Kart on the N64, I was pretty good. Those days have been over for a long time. So other than that, there's Donkey Kong, right? The new Donkey Kong. And that one looks pretty cool. But do I have to have it right away? No. And that's a single player kind of experience anyway, for the most part, as far as I know. And other than that, yeah, man, it's like, what am I looking for here? What am I needing to get this console for? What's compelling me? You know, I already have a Switch OLED, and I like it a lot. What is it that the Switch 2 is going to offer me that I just have to have it day one? And I'm, that's one of the reasons I'm not getting it day one, that and the price. It's kind of like, I can wait. So I'm waiting. PJ says, like the Stevie Wonder ad for the Atari 2600. Ooh. Luke says, Switch 2, now you're playing with human lives. Wow. Yeah. Silverwings. What's up, dude? Silverwings. Silverwings been playing some awesome stuff. I've been watching some of your stuff. I haven't commented, but I have been watching some of your stuff while I work on other projects and stuff. Yeah, he's always playing awesome stuff. Human trafficking? Wow, Nintendo got edgy. Yes. Born Distracted. I think Luke is my only online friend that got a pre-order in. Wow. Luke's on top of that. Luke says, I had to get my pre-order. I want Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah, Bonanza looks pretty cool. It looks like a freaking bonanza. It looks pretty fun. The destructible environments and everything. It's pretty awesome. Born says, LOL, Luke. I just pre-ordered the basic system with a screen protector and extended warranty. Wow, you got the extended warranty. Wow. Sir Wings, Road Rash 64 did the open world before Mario Kart World did. Yeah, man. They're just ripping off Road Rash. Psh, it's not even a new idea. Stupid Nintendo. Mike Wolf, I thought that was Kirby playing in the background at first. No, that's not Kirby. That's something else. I don't know what it's called, but I know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life, or whatever. Anyway, Luke says, I got the bundle. Luke bundled. He got the bundle. PJ says, 24 drivers at once is just crazy. What's next? 99 player Mario Kart? Like F-Zero 99, but Mario Kart 99? I bet you could do, you know how they did like the 2D, 3D thing for F-Zero 99? I bet you could do something like that with the old school, like Mario Kart from the Super Nintendo. Do the same type of thing for that Mario Kart 99. I bet you could. I mean, if you just replace the graphics in F-Zero 99, it would basically be that. So, yeah, I bet you could do that. Born Distracted, I'm poor-ish. Oh, well, I'm right there with you, buddy. I feel you. Mike Wolf, don't feel bad, man. My 16-year-old autistic niece beats me in Mario Kart, but she's smart, though. Well, it's tough, man. It's harder than it used to be. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's just that I'm old. Maybe that's all it is. Luke says $50 more. It was worth it for Mario Kart. Yeah, I mean, the bundle makes sense. If you're getting one at launch, it definitely makes sense. I agree with that. Sirwing Survival Kids looks interesting to me. Survival Kids. I don't think I've seen that one. Born Distracted. Luke, I want the physical version. Physical. Madden. Yes, PJ. Madden for the Switch, too. Yes. Portable Madden. That's pretty cool. You know, I got Madden for the PSP, which is like Madden 12 or something like that. It's the last one they made. I have Madden 13 on the Wii U. It's not really portable, but, you know. I have that Madden game for the 3DS. They only made one Madden game. It's called Madden. Doesn't even have a year attached to it. I used to have the one for the Vita. I don't remember which one it was. I don't have a Vita anymore, though. So there's not a lot of portable Madden stuff. Unless there's something for the phone that I don't know about. If there's like a Madden version that's on the phone. But it's phone stuff. Ugh. I guess you could like emulate some kind of a Madden and play it on like a Steam Deck, which would be a portable Madden. I guess. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What do y'all think about this new Xbox handheld that doesn't play Xbox games? I saw something about this. A few different YouTubers were talking about it. It's like a partnership. It's not an official like Xbox handheld. It's like made by one of those companies that makes like handheld PCs that they look like, you know what I'm talking about. John, you know what I'm talking about. It looks kind of similar in a way to like a ROG Ally, or I think that's what that's called, or sort of similar to like a Steam Deck, but it's got some kind of Xbox branding, but it doesn't actually play Xbox games, so I don't understand that. I'm very confused by that. I don't understand. There's a rumor that Sony's going to have a new handheld that's not that thing. You know what that thing that does streaming, whatever they call that thing, but like a legit handheld. That might be interesting as well, but I don't know what's happening with that. I don't know. Chris Courage. Chris is here. Chris. He says, I haven't felt like I needed a new console day one since 1989. Wow. Chris Courage, the wonderful friend of mine who has worked on so many of my consoles, repaired so many things for me, done RGB, AV mods, S-video mods, all kinds of cool stuff. Very cool guy. If you need something worked on, if you're looking to have something modded, talk to Chris Courage. He'll help you out. This is not a paid endorsement or advertisement. This is only me talking about what I think about a friend of mine. So there you go. Sirwing says, I haven't heard about this Xbox handheld. Yeah, it's weird, dude. It's very strange. Asus. Is that the... Yeah, I think that is. I think that's who's making it. Asus. Excuse me. Luke says, all we need is another Sony console for them to not support. Right. Exactly. How many times have they put something out and then immediately acted like they didn't even know what it... Like, oh, what are you talking about? PlayStation Vita? What's that? PlayStation TV? What are you talking about? I never heard... I don't know what you're talking about. PSVR, huh? PSVR 2, what? Who? Huh? Yeah. Sony has a bad track record. Oh, PlayStation Mini? PS Mini? Who? Huh? Yeah. So I don't know. It's a strange time for gaming, you know? Prices are crazy. There's all these rumors that I'm hearing crazy stuff. But some of this is just YouTubers trying to come up with stuff to talk about, right? Some of this is just like, oh, I did well on Switch 2 videos, so I got to put out 15 more Switch 2 videos this week. So let me just like repeat any freaking rumor that I've heard, or just kind of maybe make it up a little bit. So some of that is what's going on. Some of it is sensationalism because people are trying to capitalize on people's fever pitch excitement for the Nintendo Switch 2 and possibly other things. You know, it's a weird time. It's a weird time. But legitimately, there is concerns that, you know, from what I'm hearing anyway, that the pricing is going to go up for everything, like weird amounts, like crazy amounts. Like you wouldn't, like even repeating it sounds absurd to the point to where I would actually feel like, am I just spreading BS if I even give numbers, right? But I'll tell you what I've heard from other streams and things that I've seen, and this is going to sound nuts. I'm not making this up. You can look this up yourself. People are talking about like 60% increases in prices for consoles and games. And I'm like, what? I don't know how that can happen. I don't know what all the justifications would be. That goes beyond any kind of like logic. You know, I understand a lot of these companies want to try to make more money, and maybe they're looking for an excuse to raise their prices because they're wanting to do that anyway. I get that. But if you start raising your prices in that neighborhood of stuff, I mean, what are you doing? I mean, that's like literally sabotaging the industry. That's like that. There's not going to be. You're not going to increase the revenue stream for the industry doing that. You're not going to grow the size of the tent. You're not going to add new customers. You're not going to. That's not going to help. That's going to only shrink this thing that we say that we love, video games. So some of this stuff is just like so crazy. I'm like, it can't be real, you know? And that's what makes me kind of go, is this what's happening? What are people like? I don't know. What a wild time. Who knows what's real anymore, you know? I don't know. Oh, Rab is here. The Retro Advisory Board. Rab, how you doing, man? Rab says, going to hold out for Nintendo to release the Mario Kart Psy Edition. Basically Mario Kart, but you're queued in a lobby until getting paired to a competent player. You just ride in the little sidecar. Thanks, Rab. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. I miss you, Rab. You're a good guy. I always love talking with Rab. He's fun. He has funny things to say. Brian F., the Xbox anus. It kicks ass, or possibly sucks ass. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good tagline for that. We were talking about that earlier, taglines. Jump in. Whoa, that takes a whole new meaning, I guess, you know. Ooh. We've got a product for that. It's called the anus. Luke says, Microsoft is supporting the PS5 right now more than Sony is. Oh, yeah. They announced Gears of War coming to the PlayStation 5. So that's Forza and Gears of War. That only leaves one, right? That only leaves Halo. As far as I know, Halo's not on the PS5, right? Once Halo's on the PS5, I mean, that's like the last seal being broken. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's like, oh, this is over. I was talking with some friends of mine in a private discussion, And, Microsoft had announced all these crazy price increases that they're doing for all the different Xboxes and games and stuff. And I said, well, that's basically the death knell for Xbox. And one of my friends laughed at me and was like, Xbox, they're making more money than ever. Game Pass is making money for them hand over fist. It's the most amazing thing ever. And I was like, what? I mean, I understand. Look, I have theories about Game Pass and how it's sort of a Ponzi scheme, kind of is in a way. And what I mean by that is not necessarily towards the customers so much as towards they have to keep feeding in and to keep people paying for it, right? The problem is, here's the big problem with Game Pass. Game Pass is sabotaged, okay? Game Pass has a serious problem, and that's because nobody's buying Xboxes. And the primary way, regardless of advertising that they tell you, the primary way people are playing Game Pass is on Xbox consoles. PC Game Pass, whatever. This box, everything's an Xbox. That was what they said for a long time, except for the handheld. That's not an Xbox, even though it's called. They're saying it's sort of an Xbox, but it doesn't play Xbox games. Makes it kind of hard to be an Xbox if it doesn't play Xbox games, but whatever. But the problem that you have with Game Pass is, in order to grow Game Pass or sustain Game Pass in the long term, you have to keep bringing in customers. You have to make new customers. You have to, you have to grow. You're either growing or you're shrinking, right? One of the two is happening. And nobody's buying Xbox consoles anymore, probably at all, now that they've jacked up these prices to insane amounts, So this is the problem that Game Pass has. Yes, it does have a lot of properties that Microsoft has acquired. Yes, that's true. So for the people that already have that and don't mind paying to rent these games, it's a service that a lot of people are enjoying. But there is a problem with sustaining that. There's a long-term problem with sustaining that. So, once you've put all your... See, this is another thing. People talk about how much they hate console exclusivity or platform exclusivity. But the problem is, once you do away with exclusive experiences, once you do away with, you can only play Gears of War and Forza and Halo on Xbox consoles. Once you do away with that, and people can just get it on whatever, PlayStation or PC or whatever, then it's they don't need your console, especially not if you're going to jack up the freaking price and require Game Pass to even play online. Yeah. Anyway, I know I'm beating a dead horse. I've said this for a long time. Anyway, it is what it is. All right. Sorry. Back to the chat. Prime One. What's up, Prime One? How you doing? Ignoski is also here. Ignoski. We got a lot of people showing up. Wiley. Hello, Wiley. Jon Snow. Yes, he's hanging back over there. Yep. Halo is also coming. Yes. Oh, that's what she said. Yes. Luke says, my Sega Saturn isn't an Xbox. Trust me, I tried. False advertising. Indeed. How dare they? Prime One, they're going to give PlayStation owner the Gears of War version where the women take over. Okay, I don't know. I guess. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's a weird time for this industry. It's a weird time for making purchases. It's a weird time for thinking about the future. It's a weird time. Everything's weird. Everything. So I've been pretty much relegating my purchases to retro stuff, I bought some more Evercade stuff. I bought that one, which I haven't done anything on yet because I have the other 3 Toplan cartridges ordered and actually have shipped and should be to me fairly soon. So that'll be something that I talk about at a certain point also. It's pretty cool. I dig the Evercade. It's pretty cool. Thank you, John, once again for helping me get that. Pretty cool little console. And then of course I'm buying retro stuff like this Super Graphics and stuff like that. So bought some Atari cartridges the other day. Yeah, I'm just basically buying retro stuff, man, because it's like, unless I see a really good deal on a sale that they're doing on the Switch or, PlayStation or something, I'm just not spending money on newer stuff. I'm at that age, man. I think that's got a lot to do with it. I'm just at that age where I've been there, I've done that, I've seen that, I've been to the show, I've been to the circus, and I'm kind of just like, in that reflective time where you're like, what do I really like? What do I really want to play? I don't have an infinite amount of time. What do I really want to play? And that's kind of where I find myself, focusing on the experiences that I enjoy the most, which mostly are old games, So, but everybody's got their preferences and everybody's got what they believe is old. Everybody has that. So, I understand it's going to be different for different generations. And sometimes, the same age people will have different preferences about that as well. But that's kind of where I'm at. Let's see. Ignoski says, Cyrus, what system or in the gaming community makes you happy to the core? TurboGrafx. Absolutely. TurboGrafx. 100%. But that's not the only one. I mean, the PlayStation 3 makes me very happy because of everything it can do. PS1, PS2, PS3. The Sega Saturn is awesome. Genesis, Super Nintendo, obviously, Super Famicom, Super Nintendo. I have a bunch of cartridges for that. The NES is amazing. The Sega Master System. The Atari 5200. Atari 7800. Old stuff, man. That's what I dig. I dig the old stuff. 100%. PJ says people are missing. Oh, ColecoVision, said PJ. Sorry, it's sitting up here. You can't see it because of the chat, but it's up there. PJ says people are missing the boat on that AntStream app for only $20 a year. The challenges are a blast. Well, since you mentioned AntStream, I think AntStream is a good service. I think it's actually worth the money because it could help you discover a bunch of games you wouldn't have discovered otherwise that you might want to buy. So even for that alone, $20 a year, yeah, that's a pretty cool service. Plus, there's some games on there from people that I know. There's a certain person who's a friend of mine who actually made a game that's on AntStream, believe it or not. So if you're interested in homebrew stuff, you might find a certain NES title that you might enjoy that's on AntStream. We'll just say that. Luke says AntStream is a fantastic service. You can also pay one flat fee and get it for life on Xbox. Yeah, but how long is the Xbox life? That's the real question. We'll find out sooner or later. We'll find out. PG says, I did not know that. I did not know that. Wiley, I have a preference for retro games, and my parents like modern games. Yeah, that's interesting. It's funny. It's funny, right? You would think it would be the other way around, but sometimes life is weird. So I understand. Agnoski, kind of a left turn, but I've been collecting plug and play TV games, Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right, Jeopardy, right? From like game shows, Pac-Man, Activision, Frogger. Well, that's interesting. It's funny how we get caught up in unexpected things that we get interested in and want to collect for. This has happened to me too. Not for that, not yet, but it is interesting that we'll find ourselves collecting certain things that we wouldn't have expected and get interested in buying. So I have had that happen to me. It happened to me with toys for a while, like G.I. Joe, Transformers, stuff like that for a little while. I'm not really collecting that kind of stuff anymore, but for a while I was pretty interested in that. I still have a bunch of them, but they just kind of sit in a big plastic bin. But yeah, like I'll collect things. I mean, stuff that I don't even need to really buy, you know? So it's funny how that happens sometimes. Like sometimes it's stuff you wouldn't expect. Yeah, I want to collect magazines, gaming magazines. I really do. I just haven't started down that road. But I am interested in doing it. So that might be something I end up doing at some point. Prime One says, GameMate is better than PS3? I don't know what that is, Prime One. And I seriously doubt that because you have terrible judgment. We've established this already. You know, we love you, Prime One. You're a good guy. Worst judgment of anyone I've ever met in the gaming community. but that doesn't mean you're a bad guy. Okay? This is not an insult. Just saying. There's certain evidence that supports terrible judgment. That's all I'm saying. Luke says $120 for a lifetime pass for Antstream. Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I would pay $120 for that, but that's interesting. Yeah. If it's $20 a year and you pay $120 for a lifetime pass, right? That means you'd have to get 6 years out of your Xbox. Is there 6 years left in the life of Xbox? This is a serious question. I don't know the answer. Ignaski, PS3 is still killer as an online. Oh yeah, PS3 still. Yeah, you can still play online with PS3. Absolutely, still works. Antstream is really cool. Luke says, "Is John's game on Antstream? I thought it was more of the old arcade games. There's a lot of stuff on Antstream, including John's game. Absolutely." Metal Torso, I think I played $79 for the lifetime membership. I don't know if that was a special at the beginning of the offer. That's more reasonable. That's more reasonable. PJ, that's a steal, Metal Torso. Luke says, actually, it looks like it's $100 for lifetime. I don't know why I was thinking it's $120. Well, if you add tax and then there's a tariff, no, I don't know. $100. Prime doesn't have bad taste. Someone has to like shitty games. Fair enough. Good point. Fair enough. Ignaski, I really enjoyed the camaraderie that you, Papa Pete, and Television Gamer, Go Game Go, DJC Game Studios. He used to say it like that. I don't think he says it like that anymore, but he used to. You have all made the Intellivision community great. We've made it great. So great. Absolutely great. Everyone agrees. All the time, people tell me how great it is. You keep me smiling. Army veteran. We have fun, dude. We try to keep it light and just have a good time, and it's been fun. Playing, bowling or golf or, different things. And, hopefully we'll do more of the super duper retro stuff on my channel too. And people can come on and hang out with us and play different things. We played TurboGrafx last weekend, I think. We'll play something again soon. Not this weekend, but soon. I don't know what it'll be. It might not be TurboGrafx. It might be in television. It might be something else. I don't know. We'll see how we feel. We'll see. Maybe I'll put up a poll and ask people. I don't know. I'll figure something out. But thank you for that, Egnoski. Excuse me. Prime One, GameMate is a Game Boy clone in the shape of a Game Gear. Ooh, I do love the Game Gear. It's a Game Boy clone in the shape of a Game Gear. That sounds like sacrilege. That sounds like an abomination. If I play that, am I going to bring about the end of the world? It sounds like that's what could happen. GameMate has excellent Castlevania clone called Devil Castle. Oh. Well, now I'm curious. Devil Castle. Again, are we going to bring about the end of the world from this? I don't know. But it does sound, you've got me somewhat interested in it now. So I'll have to look that up. Ignosky, what game is on Antstream? John's game and system? John's Nintendo game that he made, the what is it called? John Maverick Desert of the Undead is on Antstream. John's been working on other games too, so I don't know if they're going to be on Antstream or not, but at least one of them so far is on Antstream. Ignosky says, I love the old Commodore 64 games. Now that's a computer that I'm really not that familiar with. I played a Commodore 64 a couple of times, but I never owned one. So I should get one of those Commodore 64 minis though, because those are pretty cool. Rab says 6 years. That's a worrisome chance it does become an Xbox. Oh, wow. There's a worrisome... I misread your whole thing. I suck. I'm sorry. But we all know what he's saying. Yeah, we don't know how long the lifespan is actually going to be for Xbox, so... Yes, this is a concern, dude. This is our concern, dude. PJ says, we're playing on Casey's show on Monday, The Wheel. Not the Wheel of Time. No, The Wheel. Yes, Monday. Monday. Only on Casey's channel, The Wheel. Yep. Yeah, you wanna come check that out. We spin the wheel, and then Casey selects only the worst possible games that we could ever want to play, which we don't want to play, but we'll be forced to play until we spin the wheel again and pick another horrible game. This is how the wheel works. I don't know if you're familiar with this. That's just been the history of the wheel. That's all I'll say. I'm not saying that's how it's intended to work, but that's what's happened. Ignosky, about bowling, DJC Studios made me that Intellivision bowling video. I can't bowl on Intellivision to save my life. Any thoughts? Yeah, it's hard, dude. And sometimes it doesn't work how it's supposed to. Like, you'll do everything like you're supposed to do it. You'll hit the disc at the right spot and the button and do the thing like you need to do the thing. But the thing won't happen on the screen. What was supposed to happen won't happen. You'll do it exactly like you always did. Nothing you did was any different. But the Intellivision's like, no, man, F you. I'm going to do what I want. Whatever. And then you're just like, why am I playing this game? Oh, because it's a video game and I'm supposed to be having fun. That's right. But is that happening? Not always. So sometimes bowling betrays you. It turns its back on you and stabs at you in your back. And then you have to find your fun in the conversation. Sometimes the game lets you down. I'll say that. Especially this new version of bowling. Look, I greatly appreciate the homebrew community, especially the Intellivision homebrew community. They do some amazing stuff, awesome stuff. There's a special version of bowling that we were using this last go around that's supposed to make the game more accurate. What that means is harder. It makes the game harder. That's sort of the opposite of what I want on that game. I kind of want the game to not be as hard, maybe less accurate, but instead it's more accurate and also sometimes just doesn't work. So I don't know that that's an upgrade. I'm not trying to be overly critical, but I don't know. I can't tell you with confidence that version is the better version. That's all I'm saying. I can't say that with confidence. And we'll leave it at that. But I do enjoy hanging out with everybody. That's fun. All right. Oh, there's Devil Castle. Okay, I'll check that out, Prime One. Thank you for that. Muchos gracias. Thank you, sir. Metal Torso, what DJ see is like watching Saturday Night Live on Fridays, but he plays all the roles. Chuck's out of his mind. I've told Chuck this several times. I've cautioned him. I've questioned him. On a personal level, I have reached out to Chuck and said, Chuck, are you okay? Is everything all right? We doing all right, Chuck? Are we okay? Chuck's okay. He's just out of his mind. He's crazy. And that's why we love Chuck, because he's fun. He's goofy. He's silly. He's a good guy. Okay. But he is off his rocker, as someone might say. You could put it that way. So I don't know that there's much hope for Chuck coming down from that. I've talked to him about it. I don't think that that's the plan. So I think we can continue to look forward to the escalation of Chuck's insanity. It seems to be getting worse. It does seem to be going like a river downstream. So as long as we continue to have paddles, I don't know, there's some metaphor to be had there. But yeah, he's Chuck's fun. He's fun. Wiley says, what size is that Sony CRT? How heavy is she? Well, that one is not as big as, excuse me. She's not as big as some of them that I've had, if you know what I'm saying. That's a 26 inch. It's not that heavy. It's not that bad. Maybe 60, 70 pounds, something like that. Not that bad. I did used to have some that were just too big. I had a Sanyo that was a flat one, and it was 32 inch, and it was very heavy. And then I found two 35 inch TVs. I believe they were both Sonys, and I had to get rid of them. I couldn't keep them. I've had a bunch of CRTs in the past few years, and that's the only one I've kept. That's my favorite one, and it's big enough to be enjoyable, but small enough to where I can move it, and it's not crazy. So I've kept that one. I had some that were smaller. I had several bigger, but yeah. Anyway, there you go. The history of the CRT. Luke says he needs to make Desert of the Undead and make a zombie cooking game. What? Oh, Dessert of the Dead. Dessert of the Undead. I mean, okay. Yeah, it could work. Dessert of the Undead, sure. All kinds of zombie meals could be had. I'm sure they would involve brains of some kind. Eating arms, legs, stuff like that. Could be fun. That actually could be fun if you did it right. It's actually not a bad idea, Luke. You know, my initial reaction was, this is funny. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. There might be something that you could do there that it would actually be fun. You might be able to do something with that. Luke, you're just full of ideas. Wow. PJ says, Camille, the thing with the disc and the game and the stuff, Theo. Metal Torso, LOL. Chuck definitely is crazy, but he is fun to watch. Yes, he is. We love Chuck. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Prime One says, to celebrate NEC, we all should start a homebrew community for the PCFX so that I can have a real reason to buy one. I got to tell you, Prime, I just bought a Super Graphics, okay? And I know it's expensive. It's a stupid thing to buy, but damn it, I've always wanted one, and I'm very happy that I have bought it. So hopefully it gets here and everything's fine with it. And I've forever solved my problem with the platform, if you know what I mean. I've never perfected this thing, and I think maybe I have, but I won't know until I get my Super Graphics. But anyway, what I was going to say is, this caused me to look around a little bit at some other stuff, and I was looking at PCFXs. It's hilarious that you can buy a PCFX cheaper than a Super Graphics. I would love to have a PCFX. I've always thought that would be cool, but I can't think of anything on that console that I would want to play. Like, I've seen some of the stuff. There's a couple of games that I think are actually doable, but I don't really want to play them. So it would purely be something that I bought just to sit on a shelf and look at, pretty much. So I haven't been able to justify buying a PCFX. If I can't play the console, if I don't really want to play it, it's it's like I'm on the same thing with like the well, I won't say it's the same, but let's just say like the Neo Geo CD. It would be cool to have, but am I really going to play it when I can play Neo Geo stuff, basically perfect through emulation in better ways? I don't know. I'm trying to get away from all the CDs and stuff, I'm trying to figure out other things. But anyway, separate, and that's the other thing is, that's why I never got a Jaguar CD, because it was like there was problems with burning the games, like it was a whole thing. And so I was like, And now you don't even need to worry about it with that Big P MU. It pretty much plays everything and way better than the actual Jaguar. The ATARI Jaguar. But yeah, I was looking at the PCFX yet again. Luke says, Zim Zam Zoom. Zim Zam Zoom. I was doing a video on my Evercade this morning, doing some gameplay. And there was one of the games where it said something similar to that. And I said it like that in the game. It's a popular catchphrase. I need a t-shirt that has that on it. PJ says, Kablamo. Oh yeah. Silver Wings, is Super Graphics the one with only like 5 games? Yes. It has 5 games. It has 2 games that are enhanced for Super Graphics. There is some homebrew stuff that's Super Graphics related. So it's completely illogical. There's no reason to buy a Super Graphics unless you're just a nut and you're in love with TurboGrafx. And that's me. So that's why I bought it. But there's no reason to buy. I don't encourage anybody to buy a Super Graphics. But anyway. Chris says, there's only like 3 games worth playing on the PCFX. Don't bother. Yeah, I know. And that's, yeah. Rab says, don't you blame Intellivision. That's just bowling. That's why there's always beer. It's midlife crisis, the sport. You go through the motions and yell when the thing you always do doesn't work anymore. That's a good point. The bowling game on Intellivision is sort of a metaphor for how all of us are right now. Yes. Wow. That's a good point, Rab. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe that's why it's not fun sometimes, because it's like, wait, this is hitting too close to home. I'm supposed to be escaping from reality. Maybe that's what it is. Wow, you guys have ideas. This is like going to therapy. Prime 1, PCFX is like Sega CD, but with only FMV games. Yeah, Sega CD has awesome stuff, though. There's some really good games. That's why I have a Sega CD, because there was definitely a reason to get one of those. But PCFX, yeah, I don't know. Luke says, Silverwings is right side. Didn't you just buy a console that only has 5 special games for it? Yes, I did. Silverwings, that Team Innocent game on PCFX looks Resident Evil-esque. That might be the one that I saw that I thought looked kind of interesting. I think they translated. That might be the one they have English translated. I'm not sure. It's just tough. It's like, I don't think I want to buy this for that. I mean, I could play a lot of Resident Evil-esque games on a lot of other things. You know what I'm saying? That are going to be way better. So, yeah. Metal Torso, I saw your post saying you're getting the Super FX. And the first thing, Super Graphics, not the Super FX. There's the PC FX and there's the Super Graphics. If they made a Super FX, well, there's a Super FX chip for Super Nintendo. I don't know. There's too many names. They're confusing. I understand what you're saying. Saw your post saying you're getting the Super Graphics. And the first thing I thought was, damn, Cyrus needs an intervention. Look, I'm not planning on buying a lot more. In fact, when I did this, I mentioned to a couple of my friends, I was like, this might be the last retro console that I ever buy, because I don't know if there's anything else that I really want to buy. I have a lot of good retro consoles, and the only one that was left that I really wanted, I could just never justify getting, was the Super Graphics. And I still can't justify getting it, but I'm getting it anyway. So I think it might be the last one that I get. It might be. Prime 1 says, ColecoVision, TurboGrafx 16, and Neo Geo are the greatest systems ever made for retro arcade players. Yeah. Look, I'm not going to disagree with that. Prime 1, yes, they did translate Team Innocent. That's the one. Okay. Well, there you go. There's your one game. Your, what do they call that? Your killer app. That's your killer app for the PCFX, I guess. Prime 1, Cyrus, just buy an analog pocket so you can have access to everything. It does make a lot of sense. Prime 1, to buy an analog pocket. It really does. It's amazing I haven't done it yet. It really is. They have analog pockets, believe it or not, at my local retro game store. They had, last time I was there, that place was stacked. I mean, fully stocked with like everything you can imagine. I'm guessing this is a really good time for people to sell stuff because they're getting a lot of money for stuff. Just not necessarily a good time to buy stuff because of the pricing. So this store that I really love going to, when I went in there, what was it, a couple weeks ago, I guess? I mean, they were loaded. They had, I mean, every kind of retro console and game and everything you could imagine. Plus they had all these analog consoles. They had the analog pockets. They had the analog duo. They had the Mega SG, the Super NT. They even had the NES NT Noirs. You know, those ones they don't make anymore, those NES ones. I mean, they were expensive as fuck. Don't get me wrong. Like the pricing was out of, it was insane. I was going to take pictures, but there was also a ton of people wandering around, and I was like, I don't really want to take pictures right now. But I should have just stopped and took some pictures because the pricing, wow. I mean, not everything was crazy, but a lot of stuff was like insane prices. I mean, like I can, if I remember correctly, I believe the Super NT and the Mega SG were like $400 a piece. I was like, holy shit. What? So I don't know. There was some crazy stuff going on, but they had everything. That's why they had everything, because the prices were just nuts. Wiley says Super Graphics has backwards compatibility. Yes, it does. So yes, so the plan is I'll have the Super Graphics, and I'll use that with the EDFX that plugs into the back so I can get RGB out of it. And then I'll use my Turbo EverDrive Pro so I can play everything, including the CD games, directly off the EverDrive Pro. Keep wanting to say Evercade. The EverDrive Pro. So literally, I will have original hardware that plays everything that platform offers. So as long as I get it and it works and everything's good, this is going to be really awesome. But like I said, it's going to mean that I'm pretty much never going to touch my Duo again. And I'll keep my TurboGrafx because that's a different situation. But I might end up selling the Duo because I don't know that I'll ever need it again. I don't know. I have to really think about that. I would hate to sell it because, Chris did do a lot of work on it and he hooked me up with an S-Video mod on it. It's really nice. And if I sell it, I might regret it. So maybe I won't sell it. I'll just have stuff that I don't need to have. I don't know. I got to think about that. I'm not sure. Born Distracted, is there any OLED analog pockets? You know what? I don't know. Do they have OLED screens? I'm really not sure what the screen is on the pocket. Prime says they have an all-metal analog pocket. The ones I saw that they had at the store were white ones and black ones. That's the two different kinds I saw. They had several of them. They have, let's see, Born Distracted, Wild Prime, Torso might like that. Torso, my spelling is always off. I type on my phone and yeah, me too. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Prime 1, with the Analog Pocket, you can run everything off a SD card. You only use the EverDrive Pro for save states. Well, I'm not saying anything bad about the Analog Pocket. Clearly, it's an amazing system. As if you got the dock for it, it's also you can do everything you would want to do with the Analog Pocket. It's amazing. So, you're right. I should have bought one. Leo kept trying to get me to buy one for a long time. Leo DS. We talked about it a lot. We had this conversation where he was talking about the Mister. He was talking about the Mister. He was really talking about that. And he was like, the Analog Pocket's really cool and all stuff. But he was really kind of more pushing me towards a Mister. And he was like, oh, you should get it because it does this and this and this and this. And I was like, I was being kind of a smart ass with him. And I said, yeah, I understand everything you're saying, Leo. I hear you. But where exactly, I'm looking at these pictures. Where exactly do I put the cartridges? And he was like, oh, you're being funny. So, but anyway, these are good. These are amazing platforms. The Analog Pocket is awesome. The Mister is also very awesome. FPGA stuff is so good. It's gotten, the cores they can do, the Sega Saturn stuff, the Neo Geo, like there's so many awesome cores. This N64 thing that's coming out, it's really, really cool. Let's see. PJ, Me Too, Metal, Torso. Oh, Jeff is here. Jeffrey. I still want to get a Super Graphics one day. Well, Jeff, you don't need a Super Graphics. You have the Analog Duo, which will play all of that stuff. So you don't actually need, I didn't need it either. I mean, I have emulators and stuff. So I can't, what am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying. I'll take a lot of pictures and send them to you when I get it. I'll do videos. I promise you. Not that will help. Probably just make you feel worse. Sorry about that. What am I saying? I should be quiet. I'm sorry. But I haven't even got mine. There's no guarantee until I have something. It's like, what do they say? Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Something could go very wrong. My Super Graphics could get destroyed in shipment, or then the United States could get like bombed with an atomic blast, and I die, and then never have a Super Graphics, which would be the real tragedy, right? You never know. You never know what's going to happen. That's all I'm saying. Mike Wolf says, Mingye, another company, is coming out with an N64 FPGA to compete with Analog. Mingye. I never heard of that before. Hyperkin was working on something too, I think. But they've been working on various things. None of them are very good. Hyperkin makes good controllers. They have really good like Sega Genesis controllers and stuff like that. I like their controllers. Their consoles are not perfect. They seem to have some consoles that are better than others, but yeah. But I don't know about Mingye. I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. It's interesting. So, in the immediacy, I am continuing to work on some of these Evercade videos. They're going to come out probably once a week on Mondays, probably. So I'll keep putting out the Evercade stuff. I'm trying to get backlogged and have several of those ready to go so I can work on other stuff too. But when the Super Graphics things happens, I'm going to be very preoccupied with that. So that'll probably be happening, I don't know. It depends on how long it takes to get here from Japan. So it might be next weekend, or I really don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's definitely coming in the near future. But yeah, this is where my focus is mainly. Retro, old school video games. So yeah, I'm probably going to do individual videos about other games too that aren't related to Evercade, various retro consoles and whatnot. So I'll be doing that kind of stuff. And I will try to stream more. I apologize. Now that I have a better camera set up here, I'll want to play with this toy for a while. If you know what I'm saying. But yeah. Let's see. Wow. Neo Geo Super Pocket. Evercade. Oh, yeah, the Evercade stuff. They're definitely bringing out some cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and they got a new Neo Geo collection. I bought so many Neo Geo games on the PlayStation 5, and I also have been buying them on the Switch. So I'm not really... Max talked to me a while about that new Neo Geo thing, and I was like, yeah, I think I'll just buy games on my Switch. Because what's the point? Like, I'm going to buy this little handheld just to play that? I guess you could play other stuff on that handheld too, right? Other Evercade cartridges? But I'm like, maybe. But I have a Switch, and I've already invested a lot in Neo Geo games on that. So I think I'll just keep doing that, because that seems like that makes sense. Born Distracted Psy, how do you attach the CD to the Super Graphics? So I won't need to do that because I have the EverDrive Pro, and I can just play the games directly off of that. So I won't need to actually hook up the CD to the Super Graphics. Although, I think there's a way I could. I think that there actually is a way to hook up the TurboGrafx CD to the Super Graphics, but I'm not gonna try that. I'm not interested in that. So yeah, that's the great thing about, Crix hooking me up and giving me the EverDrive Pro instead of just the EverDrive Core, is it gives me the ability to play everything. So that's going to be really cool. That's going to be really fun. So anyway, guys, we've been hanging out for a little bit now. I've kind of run out of stuff that I want to talk about for the moment, but I'll be back doing more stuff very soon. Like I said, I got a lot of work I'm doing with this Evercade stuff, so I'm going to get back to recording videos and doing that, editing, doing things like that. But I want to thank you guys for coming to hang out this weekend in the middle of a day on a Saturday. I really appreciate it. That's really cool, you guys. I'm always surprised when anybody shows up on a Saturday or Sunday. I'm like, really? Thank you. It's unexpected. Analog Pocket has a turbo CD. Yeah, Analog Pocket's badass. It is badass. So, yeah, thanks, guys. Chris says, there is that stupid RAU 30 cable, but that's to attach the PCEC to the Super Graphics, not the TurboGrafx 16 CD. Okay. Well, I'm not planning to do that anyway, so we're good. We're good. So guys, thanks for coming to hang out. I appreciate it. Chris Courage, PJ Smith, Silver Wings, Prime One, Born Distracted, Wiley, Jeffrey, Go Game Go, Mike Wolf, Metal Torso. I know John was here, the Retro Bro. Rab was here, the Retro Advisory Board. Miss you, Rab. It's good hanging out with you again. Luke, who fulfilled his destiny by defeating Donkey Kong 64. Very impressive stuff. Very, very impressive stuff. Ignoski was also here. Ignoski, thank you for being here. Thanks for coming to hang out. Did I say Prime One? I think I did, but if I didn't, Prime One. So many people. Casey, the Intellivision Gamer. He's diversified now. He has other things he does too, but he's still known as the Intellivision Gamer. Drunky Cheese was here very early. He actually has the pinned comment. I very much appreciate you being here, Evil. Evil's been a friend of mine for a long time. Very long time. And I'm very, very happy anytime he can come hang out because I know he's busy doing stuff. Brian F. Almost missed Brian. I think I miss Brian all the time because I just, for some reason, I'm bad about that. I have no excuse. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. It does happen. If it does, don't take it personal. I'm an old man. I have Swiss cheese brain. I don't remember things. I make terrible, horrible mistakes. But for now, you guys stay awesome. Go play some games, hang out. If you're doing streams, let me know. I got to check out this game that you were telling me about, Prime One, because I'm very interested in this bizarre Devil Castle. Okay, I got to remember. I'm going to copy that because I'm about to go check that out as soon as I get done. You guys, take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.